The HAM model models the evolution of the entire term structure of interest rate. Now, actually, HAM models the entire term structure of instantaneous forward rate. So essentially, you can imagine that you take the term structure of interest rate and then convert the term structure of interest rate into a term structure of instantaneous forward rate. And then HAM models the evolution of that instantaneous forward rate, the term structure of instantaneous forward rate. What they show that there's actually a linkage between the different points on the instantaneous forward rate curve, or different points on that term structure. And then if you specialize that process, or you making certain restrictions on the process, you can actually recover the short rate models that we discussed earlier. So we're gonna see later in the lecture to demonstrate that what restriction we applied and how we actually recover a short rate model that we have analyzed in the last lecture. Now, in general, the HAM model is path dependent, which makes it complex in a way, meaning that, well, number one, it's almost not possible to have a closed form solution unless you make appropriate restrictions, which we recovered, as mentioned earlier, to the short rate model that we have seen, which has the closed form solution. But other than those ones, you typically would not have a closed form solution. Even some of the numerical implementation would not be possible because of the path dependency. So if it's path dependent, if you build a tree, you will have, binomial tree you will have non-recombining nodes. Then you have 2 to the power n number of nodes. And then, only have a few time steps, then the complexity becomes so substantial that your computer wouldn't be able to handle it. So really, at the end of the day, you can only use Monte Carlo simulation to price a HAM model. Well, basically to price derivative assets if an interest rate derivative assets where the underlying asset, where the interest rate process, or where the term structure of instantaneous forward rates follows a quote unquote typical HAM model. Well, the HAM model provides good flexibility and provides richness of the shape of that evolution of the term structure. But then the drawback is the complexity of implementation. So as mentioned, that you can only do Monte Carlo simulation. You can't do trees. You can't even do the numerical solution or PDEs. So pros and cons.